Welcome to Magic Mondays. My name is Tim Gregg, and my special guest today is Julianne Ferres. Good morning or good afternoon over there.
Yes, thank you very much. Hi, how are you?
I'm well, thank you. You're in Melbourne, is that right?
Yes, good old Melbourne. Yes,
Nice.
it's sunny skies today, which is very nice for a change.
My
In,
hometown.
oh right, in July. So
Excellent. Make the best of it while you can.
yeah, it's been a bit cold.
Yeah. So you've been in the business we're in, the mutual business we're in, for how long?
So I joined at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
And then it did take a few months to get my K8, the filter, because they weren't coping, obviously, over in Japan. And I think it took 10 weeks or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, long time.
Had phenomenal success the last couple of months and created a lot of new sales, and they got a little bit behind, but that's a good thing. That's a good problem to have, isn't it?
Oh my gosh, yes. Wow. Yeah. What type of business doesn't like that problem?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're in the construction industry, aren't you?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm a project manager.
Yeah. So what, as a successful project manager, and I know you've been there for quite a few years, and you're very good at managing people. What was the impetus that drove you towards taking on your own new business?
Um, Actually, I've been wanting to get out of construction probably for 10 years.
Yeah.
But I did want to earn similar money or more. And hence I've stayed in what I do because I'm good at it, which is always a problem. Um, and um, and I just sometimes feel that it shouldn't be this hard. And I just don't understand. I didn't understand why you can't make money online um, and possibly, go on holidays and have money coming in. You hear about these concepts of, people sleeping and money are turning up in their bank account and everything else. Um, and I did try some other things years ago. I've done the whole shape thing, and I've tried, yeah, so I've always tried different things, and all my family and friends have just gone, oh my God, what is this girl doing? You know, so I've always, and then I tried to be a developer once up in Sydney, and I bought a deceased estate, and it was a block of land next to the beach in a place called Freshwater, which is next to Manly. And then, yeah, so I tried to do that, but there's just so many hidden expenses, and it's just so, you need capital. I did get two business partners on, and I chose the wrong business partner, so that was a learning exercise. And at the time, the council was corrupt, and I didn't know who to pay because I'm not very good at. I'm a little bit honest, and I don't. And I had coffee with a couple of people, but I'm not the brown paper bag, person. And
Uh,
yeah, so and then the council got kicked out, and they, brought in other people, but and that went to the Land Environment Court and ended up getting approved because what was submitted was legal. It complied. So with all the regulations. Yeah, so look, I made some money out of that, and but took years and years to sort out. So hard. And so then I realized I'm not a developer. Tried that. But I tried all the small stuff, trying to do essential oils, and I've always been interested in different things, but I've done Anthony Robbins courses, and I did Bob Proctor courses. So in my 30s, I just kind of became a bit of a course junkie, because I was trying to deal with issues with my parents, which I didn't understand. And then I learned a whole stack. So I've been going through a growth process. So that's a very long-winded answer, but
no.
yeah, and then became a single mom, and unintentionally as well. So then I was thrown into that type of thing. So busy with
in your job, your main job, which is, how long have you been in the construction industry? Quite a while.
37 years.
Yeah. And would you call it, having all that experience and technical skills and wisdom, would you say you're finding that hard? Is it still hard for you to drive you to do something else?
I have got, yeah, I suppose I'm being a woman in the industry has been so much harder than being if you're a man. And, I got fired for being pregnant. And my daughter was born in 2007. So, and we do live in Australia.
Yes.
Yeah. I was a contractor, but I'd been there for years. So yeah, I've experienced some very much hardship, definitely. I've had my tyres slashed by the unions, and yeah, just my life threatened, and that was in Sydney. So luckily we don't. And then I changed the construction, so I was on the builder's side, and then I moved to client side, and that definitely most recently it's been nicer. But, I was still in an organisation at the beginning of the year that there was bullying occurring, and I'm just too old for that shit. Seriously. Sorry, there's the dog. Yeah, and I'm not interested in the politics. I'm not interested in who's who in the zoo. I'm always focused on the project. I want the best for the community. I'm always interested in, I don't care if they want the wall to be pink with blue spots, as long as that doesn't upset them, that it's not going to make people angry or something. But, if that's what they want, let's give it to them, because I'm going to walk away and go to the next project.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it is hard, and it shouldn't be that hard. So, and some of the other things I've tried, I had to buy stock, so there was a lot of things about this business that I saw. I was like, well, this is good because I don't have to have a garage full of stock that I've got to buy, and to have sitting there, and I don't have to promote to my friends. So that was really a big thing. I mean, I have lost some friends on Facebook, or mums that I were friends of my daughter's, like through school and stuff. And, they made comments and everything. And I thought, oh, well, whatever. I just don't care. Because, you get a bit older and you just don't care. Like, whatever you think, off you go.
Sure.
Yeah. So there was a lot of elements that appealed to me, that there's a system and there's training and everything else. That really did hit home with me.
So part of that is, I'm assuming, like with your essential oil business, did you have much training in that? Was there a similar system, or was it?
No, but not at all. But I mean, the lady who I ended up following, I mean, she's fabulous. She's lovely, and she could sell anything to anyone. But then to repeat that, I'm not her. But she wasn't making money. Like, she wasn't making enough money to live on. So yeah, but the products were great, like fabulous products. Yeah. And then other ones, like when I did the shake stuff, that was when you had to buy everything, and that just got expensive. So and I tried.
That's still a low, I guess that's still a fairly low commission thing. I know the shakes can be expensive, but.
Yeah, definitely. And same with essential oils. I mean, I was only every couple of months actually covering my purchase of oils for me.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So you don't do it to make money.
Circles. Yeah.
Yeah. So, because you've got to keep buying.
Yeah.
Every month, and you've got to buy a certain amount and all that stuff. So yeah, I don't have a husband to support me.
Yeah.
So I thought that, and as well, that was having people come to my house and doing, having people come in and, and then people don't turn up, and then you're not meant to provide snacks, but I like providing snacks, and then people chat, and it was good. But then sometimes you've got strangers coming as well, and I'm not comfortable with that. So there was just so many elements when they talked about the business. I was like, oh my God, thank goodness. I don't have to have people around my kitchen table, because I mean, my mum, when I was a kid growing up, had ran macrame classes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, around the kitchen table. And she ran them, I reckon, for when I was in primary school, 4 or 5 years. She ran them. And, you know, she had advanced classes and she did all this stuff because some people just didn't want to stop coming because they loved it for social.
Social event as well, of course.
Yeah, yeah. And look, she made enough money, you know, to buy a new fridge or to buy some things for the house and stuff like that. And then she did save it up, and Mum and Dad went round the world for 7 weeks and left us 3 kids home with my grandmother, which probably aged my grandmother substantially, poor thing. But, you know, so she did make some money. But so I remember always coming home and there's, you know, all these people, because my mum and dad had a massive big kitchen table, you know, Laminex thing. And yeah, it's just I don't want to do that. I mean, it was okay at the time, you know, but the amount of hours she put in, wow.
And I know, because I know someone very closely involved in the craft business, or not, you know, and that thing is that it's the cost of crafts have remained stationary forever. And
oh no, but craft never makes any money.
that's
Never.
right. That's right.
Never. So she, you know, she had stalls and she's had exhibitions because Mum was right into all sorts of textiles, and because she was an art and craft teacher. And yeah, oh my gosh, the weird shit we had around the house when I was a kid. Oh my God. And, you know, she'd put stuff in shops and she never made any money.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah,
my
so
God.
it was like that then, and it's worse now because the cost of store space and everything has risen up tremendously. The cost of the craft items is essentially the same as what it was 20 years ago. Because
But the issue is actually the products, sorry, the materials has gone up.
That's right, as well.
Yeah. So not just the stall, the materials have gone up.
Everything's gone up except the amount you can charge for the craft item, basically.
So, absolutely, yeah.
So that's a challenge. And I know I was in the essential oil. I did try essential oils for a while, but again, you use such little amount of it too. It's hard to keep buying it every month, and I've just accumulated so many bottles of essential oil, and a few drops go in once a day or so. It's like, what do you do with all this stuff?
Well, I was giving it away.
Yeah,
I give it away. You know.
Yeah.
So you know, there's ones for if you know teenagers have got period pains and everything else. So I order those and I give them away, of course, and that's not what you're meant to do.
No,
because then people don't see the value in it.
Yeah.
And that was a big point, which is actually extraordinarily true.
Oh, interesting.
Because they're thinking, well, I can get it for free from Julianne. Why would I pay $36 for that?
Oh, of course. Yeah. So when you're in your journey of personal development, which I deeply respect you for, you know, yeah, many people do it, but most people don't sort of look at themselves over the years. What have you kind of learned from Anthony Robbins and the other ones you've mentioned that I know we'd had an earlier conversation? What's some of those key points that are going to drive you towards growing a new business?
Bob Proctor talked about 7 sources of income, which really hit home with me. And I've actually always taken that on. And so until just recently, I had 3 sources. So I built an Airbnb, and then during COVID, it was empty, of course. And then I rent that out. And currently, the tenants just left, and the carpet's been steam cleaned on Friday. And I've got I had an open inspection on Saturday, and I've got a few coming up. So I have that. That's a studio, so I rent that out. And so just having other sources of income. So I'm not anticipating with, so basically, I suppose the other thing that one of them, I think it was Bob Proctor, said JOB, or maybe it was Kiyosaki, who said, you've got a job, which you're just over broke.
Kiyosaki, yeah.
And I love that. I think that's really good. And what's happened even like in the beginning of the year, and it's been amazing that I actually unfortunately got sick. And so I actually still had a job, but they weren't giving me any money, which was a problem. And I couldn't get Centrelink because I still had a job. But my daughter and I were living on the rental, and then I took some money out of my mortgage. But if the rental hadn't have been there, that wouldn't have been really tough. So I do always look for little side hacks. You know, I did marketplace, and, you know, you grow plants and do little bits and bobs. But selling, you know, a couple of $10 plants here and there, I mean, seriously, like, you know, I mean, at times that's helped. so going back to the point, so Anthony Robbins, I feel, helped me understand that you've got to increase your limitations and look further ahead, in the sense of, say you're on 100,000. Well, why are you on 100,000? Well, why not be on 150,000? Or why not look and actually feel that's possible?
Yeah.
Who's putting that limit on you?
Yeah.
And then I learned to forgive my parents, which was a good idea. And I learned about the toolbox, which now again I can't remember which one told me about this, but I just think it's profound. So your parents were given a toolbox and say there's 12 tools, and their parents put some tools in it, and they've gone on their life and they're adding it, and it's going to be 15 tools. And they're going to give me that toolbox, but actually I need 20. And so I didn't get, what do you want to call it, financial advice, some life skills, scammers. I mean, I didn't get quite a bit of information which I need for my life. So I'm then adding to my toolbox and giving what I can to my daughter, but she again is going to be missing some tools for her life. So once you understand that your parents or whoever you have in your life, if they're going to give you any assistance or life skills, it's not going to be the complete package. So why expect that from them?
That's an amazing concept. I haven't heard that, actually. And I've spent a lot of years in personal development, but that is such a great idea that you, the two things that occur to me is you really get rid of the need to blame your parents, because they just gave you the tools, but it's up to you. You have a responsibility, and you should hold yourself accountable to putting more tools in the toolbox. And then the other thing, of course, is that you have to pass it on as you are to your daughter, that here's what I'm giving you. Now go and fill it up with more things. Because, I mean, let's face it, life changes as it is rapidly now, let alone what she will need in general anyway. The world.
Exactly. So I took her on a course 2 months ago in Sydney and it was called Iconic Speaker, and it's to learn how to be a public speaker.
Yeah. And
it was a 3-day intensive course. And it was the first time they ever had a 16-year-old kid doing it. And of course, I like to do lots of bribery, because I do bribery. Bribery, I love it.
You do really well as a single parent.
Bribery is wonderful. Anyway, my bribery, because I'm a pretty open, accepting parent, my bribery was she got a tattoo.
Right.
So, because she'd been wanting a tattoo, and so we've had a year of discussions.
You have to earn it.
Yeah, and I told her to think about what she has to love the tattoo. She had to find somebody with a good line work. So she had to learn about what was required. I said, you're not having something that looks like you just got out of prison.
Yeah.
Then it has to be in a place that you can't see it.
Yeah.
That in the sense of, you're not going to be on your fingers, on your arms, because that's not cool. Anyway, so yeah, and it's got it on the side of her torso, so below her bra line on her side.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful. But that was her bribery. But she had to do the 3-day course about public speaking.
Wow.
And she learned stacks. She doesn't think so, but I know she's going to appreciate it later. And I can see that she's more confident, and I feel like a lot of people said to her, God, I wish my parents did this to me. I mean, literally everybody there were 70 people there in this course. And so many people were so impressed that I'd brought her along. Just, but, I was with bribery,
So you did the course as well, of course.
Yeah.
What did you get out of it?
Oh, I loved it. So I want to, because I like what I was saying about Bob Proctor, I actually want to run retreats for parents and teenagers.
Oh.
And it was pretty funny, because one thing that they let us all do was that was what was given, that we could actually do our pitch to the group and to the leaders to say, well, this is what we want to do with our business. Some people turned up with a $2 million business saying, this is what we've got. Can you help us to progress it to a 10 million? or there was people who had a, 50,000 business, or people who turned up like me who have not got a business, but this is what I want to do. And so, I pitched it, and the lady at the end of my pitch actually said, "So why haven't you done it? It's fabulous." And so what's been helping me, what's been holding me back is actually I self-sabotage.
Okay.
Yeah, so I've realised that. And she just said, "Oh my God, you're a queen of self-sabotaging. You're really good at it."
An expert. So, okay, what steps have you taken to work your way through the self-sabotage?
Well, she said you can do it like this. And yeah, but one of the things that what the speaker at that course did on the first day, which again made me think, oh my gosh, that is so true. Because here's me thinking, I'll make a lot of money with this business, and then I'll go and buy some land, and I'll put some maybe tiny houses on it, or cabins, or containers, or, do all this stuff. And then that's what I was thinking. And that was what was holding me back, thinking I'll set something up, right? And then at the beginning of this course, he goes, "You know that Uber doesn't own a car."
Yeah, so true.
And Airbnb don't own property.
Amazon don't own books.
So, and then you kind of go, oh my gosh.
You could start this next week.
Yeah. And so then since I've actually gone out to some companies that have camps, because they're all set up.
Yep.
And then, so it's so interesting. You kind of change the way you think and go, well, so then I've got a friend who does the essential oils, and so I could get her in to do a module. I've got another friend who does, she's all about diet and your skin and your organs and everything else. So get her in. And then I've got another friend who's got horses and has, they're all, both her and her husband do like kinesiology, and it's all with horses and ponies. And I took my daughter to do a course with them up in Echuca. So you'd bring them in, and it's all therapy horses. That's what the word was, so I couldn't think of it. Yeah. Anyway, and you put it together. And I'm like, oh my God. So I'm trying to organise it for November this year.
Oh, well done.
Yeah. So she said, actually, she goes, "So how many are you going to have?" And I said, "Oh, I thought I'd have 2 but before Christmas." And she's like going, "Why only 2?" And I was just like, oh my God.
So your ultimate dream might be to have your own property and all that down the line, but you don't have to wait, until that happens.
Yes, possibly. Yeah. Or, or organise it at somebody else's properties.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I do want more capital. And so and again, it's then on the same path of being healthy.
Yep.
The Enagic, it just appealed to me in so many different ways with the health factor.
Yeah. So is your ultimate dream or your ultimate plan to have the Enagic business as the main thing, or is it one of the 7 things that you're just going to run together?
I would want it to be the main thing, and then the other ones coming in. So, because I would like to, maybe not rent out, a room at my place,
Yeah.
And have a studio there or something, and do art. I don't know, because I do bits and pieces of different things with it. I restore Art Deco furniture.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah. Or at the moment I'm restoring some old timber, which is Jarrah, and I just love Jarrah.
Yeah, beautiful.
And it was somebody's fence, so a picket fence. So it's all painted and it's got nails in it and it's all revolting, but I know what Jarrah can look like.
Yeah.
I know underneath it's just amazing. So I want to build a privacy wall. So I do like doing different things, I must admit. So I'm not the craft one, and I'm not trying to sell it because it doesn't work. And I crochet blankets for the needy and for people who are having tough experiences in life, but I don't sell it because I'm not going to make any money. No. I get the wool probably half of the time for free. I make them and I give them away.
Nice.
Yeah. So
you've had tell me how this has affected your life in terms of your business, or I guess your existing job and your business going forward. You've had quite a few health issues over the years.
Yeah.
That must have set you back a fair bit. How does that change your life up to this point?
You value health
Yeah.
so much more. I feel I'm at the end of my health issues. I've had the last operation in December last year. I had unfortunately, a surgeon put a camera through my bowel accidentally. So I've had 7 years of operations and health issues to fix all that. I almost died, all sorts of stuff. But yeah, so I must admit, I do take lots of supplements, and the turmeric again is something that's just fabulous. I love that. And only 6 weeks ago, I fell over playing tennis and broke a bone in my wrist. And I couldn't believe it. I thought it was muscles. Didn't go and do anything about it for 24 hours. Anyway, discovered I did break one bone, but, doom and gloom. When I went to the hospital, they said, oh, a woman of your age, you probably should have shattered your wrist. You've only broken one bone. I'm really surprised. Sitting in the right place. We don't have to operate. We'll just put a cast on. And I said, fabulous. Then they, obviously, because they had the x-rays, and they said, I think you should come and have a look at this. And I'm like, okay. So I'm looking at the x-rays, and he goes, you've got amazing bone density. And I'm like, good. That's good. So I'm just like, yay. So there's so that's really, that's just another thing that's happened. But so I'm sure the turmeric has helped. I've got the plaster off now, and I'm my wrist is it still hurts a little bit because I've only had it off for a week. But I've been a bit of a rebel, and I've got motorbike accident injuries previously when I was 22.
Strangely enough, that doesn't surprise me that you're a bit of a rebel.
Oh, really?
I'm getting that picture.
Oh, right. Yes, I'm really good at flying.
Yeah.
The whole landing thing is not so good. Yeah. So I was good at flying, playing tennis, but I didn't land so well.
Awesome.
Yeah, so I just and then, I got, unfortunately, as well, just to add to things, I had my daughter at 41. And so then I got gluten and wheat intolerances, and I wasn't aware that when you're an older mother, that you can turn that gene on by being pregnant.
Okay.
And then that gene went to my daughter in the womb.
Oh.
So I thought I couldn't toilet train. I was just thinking, oh my God, I'm so bad at this. But I was feeding her the wrong food. So then I went right into health and food and everything else, and then went really strict, and for 4 or 5 years, and got onto some very expensive supplements that through a Chinese lady, and that just helped bring us up. And then we both didn't get colds and the flu, and we just don't, like, I only got COVID for the first time about a month ago. I hadn't had COVID, and my daughter had it, but yeah, so really interesting. I was thinking, oh my God, I'm one of those ones that doesn't get it. So I must admit that's been an interesting journey. And then I now can have whatever bread or anything I like, I think, by repairing the gut. Right. And so I must admit I'm very conscious of the gut because of this situation. And so then I can eat anything now. My daughter still has some intolerances, but nowhere near as what she had. Yeah. She's just got she can't have 3. No, she can have 3. She can't have 4 chocolate ripples. She loves chocolate ripple biscuits. If she has 4, it's not good. But 3, she can have 3.
Like she can manage it quite easily by the sound of it.
Yeah.
So in going forward in your business with the Nagic, and what's your what do you want people to know you as in that respect? Is it health, or is it something else? Is it building the business, making money?
So initially I was thinking about just building the business, but I actually didn't know how to promote myself. I was really confused by that different aspect, because it's different. And I should be au fait with this because you're promoting saying, you know, I'm wonderful or I've got this lifestyle, but I haven't. So I was challenged by that. And I tried to do that for a couple of months, tried to, you know, just say, look, I changed my profile to public and posted things and great stuff we're doing and seeing our lifestyle and things like that. But I still wasn't quite sure how to promote it. And then I've decided that I'm actually going to go down the water angle.
Okay.
But actually give people the choice as well. Highlight that you can go for the business or you can go for the water. That's my approach. Possibly that's not a proven approach, but you know. So we're using the water and we just love it. I've actually bought a fridge now that has, because my daughter loves chilled water, and that's okay. But I've bought a fridge that has a compartment in it that has literally no working bits, that so nothing can, you can't actually get sick from not cleaning it or anything, because a lot of the ones, if you plumb them in, you've got to continually clean them.
Yep, I get it.
So this way I just put water into the fridge, and then she's drinking more water. So that's, we all don't drink enough water. At the end of the day, it's
so true.
It's totally one of the things. And the other thing that has bothered me for years is the actual, because I'm a bit of a greenie at heart, that is the plastic bottle situation. I really have a problem with people who are just buying, you know, 24 bottles.
Big stack of them, yeah.
Yeah, and you're like, God, that's insane.
Yeah.
So I do want to promote that as well, recycling, because I compost and I do all sorts of weird stuff and use my coffee granules on my plants, and, you know, I do all sorts of alternative, I suppose, things, or just being more aware of what you've got here that actually helps everything.
I noticed that some reason, because I certainly don't follow him or politics in general, but the Victorian Premier announced that they're now putting in return centres for plastic things somewhere around, hundreds around Victoria. And because many people were saying, well, we've had that for 30 years in Adelaide. But I think there's a growing, my point is there's a massively growing awareness of this problem around plastic bottles. And I mean, people who buy such small bottles and, you know, 24, as you say, they're not even buying one big one to put in the fridge.
No.
That would be a step, but we're a long way. You know, we're pushing. I understand about are you promoting the business or water, but I certainly think you can do both, and I know for a fact it's not disproved one way or the other. It's up to them, and I suspect some people will come in on the water and think, "Wow, this is a great business. I'm going to do that," or they'll come in, want to grow a business, and they'll fall in love with the water, which everybody seems to do. So it's finding a way through it.
Yeah, and look, I mean, the water to me is just so beautiful. I'm actually almost surprised how beautiful and refreshing it is. So I'm continually filling up my water bottles to have in the car with me. And I've never been a plastic bottle person who buys lots of soft drinks or anything like that. But yeah, so I do want to promote that really a lot if I can, because of the concern of the, you know, it was something crazy, 1,000 years or something absurd that takes for one of them to break down. And you see the photos in, you know, Thailand or Bali or whatever. It's just
the ocean,
shocking in those waterways.
Yeah.
And you see the companies that, you know, that go in and try to clean up things like that. So I just, that's one thing that I'd really like to promote, that, you know, you're actually going to save money. You buy it, but you're going to save money in the end. Just buy some decent water bottles and, you know, reuse them.
Yeah. Where do you, so I've got a good feeling now where you're going, but where do you see yourself in the next 12 or 24 months with your business?
Well, I did sign up for the 90-day program.
Oh, yeah.
Because I do need a little kick up the butt.
So talk briefly about that for people who don't know.
So the 90-day program, you have to do something every day. There's assignments, there's all sorts of things. It's actually there's webinars, there's Teams, there's Hook, like you've got to log on and stuff like that. You've got to watch things. And I really like the concept that even though you sometimes in yourself, you don't feel like you're ready, you just go and do it and then do the background later. You build it and they come, all that type of thing.
Yeah. Jump.
Kevin Costner. So I do need a little push, even though I'm time poor. Like I'm working and I was just working before and it's Sunday. I'm going to try and do 4 hours today at least, maybe 5, to get a report to a standard that I can send it to my manager to look at tomorrow morning to discuss. Yeah, but and that's things I don't want to do.
Could be working on your own business.
Yeah. I want to, I'd like to say, okay, 4 or 5 hours on my business would be great.
So somewhere out there is a time where you're basically just working on your own business and or businesses.
And then I could do the fun stuff like the retreats that I want to do.
Yes.
Because I really feel that all the things that I've learned about managing my daughter, so I went and did a course to learn how to actually speak to her in a different way. Okay. And it was just with a psychologist. It was 8 weeks, but prior to that, she hated my guts, and didn't want to live with me. And I sent her to her father's place. And she'd never spent any time with him, and she was 15 ever in her life. Yeah. Wow. So that was pretty big. And she understood more about what her father's like. Yeah, but and his wife. Yeah, so I'd like to do things that I really enjoy. So I do charity work and I volunteer for things, and I'd like to, because I like helping people.
Nice. That's nice. Nice. So I'm sensing that your business will support you for do things that may not necessarily earn you money, but they will help people. And
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Well,
and help them better their lives. So I'm in a group that we save food from landfill. And it gets distributed to anyone and everyone. You don't have to be on the dole or anything like that. The objective is to actually prevent it from going to landfill when it's perfectly good food. And it's, bread from the day before or veggies from the day before, or it's going to expire in 2 days, and the shopping and the supermarket wants to put new stock on the shelf, so there's a pallet or something, chocolate. It can be anything.
Yes,
it's pretty crazy. Yeah.
So, just in the last minute or so, what would you say to people who are thinking about joining this business, joining this business? What would you say some of the points are to consider?
I think the big thing is that you don't have to sell to your family and friends, and that it's an automated system, that the training is there. The training is really good. And if you realise that somebody's done it before you, and if you've got a problem, then you can just go and look at it. And there are groups. I mean, some of the groups I've gone into, and they're not for me, and other groups are really great. So, and I've met some other people in a couple of the groups, and I now talk to them and we support each other. So yeah, I'm really enjoying the groups are really good. And then they have these thing called a huddle on a Monday night, which is really interesting, and I enjoy that. I like it being down to earth, but that's just me.
I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
Fabulous. Well, you've got a great future by the sound of it. You've got many things going, and
you don't want to be bored.
You won't be bored, and I think that the business you've been in for many years has obviously helped you be very get your time management under control and managing people, and I think that's going to be such valuable skills going forward in your new business. So I really appreciate the time you've taken to talk to me, and we will talk again, because I'd love to see where you're going with those retreats and your business, and maybe get your daughter involved in all this stuff as well. I sense that's possibly there.
Oh yeah, she thinks I'm pretty crazy, you know.
Perfect.
She's like, oh God, what's mum doing now?
Every parent should have a parent. Every child should have a parent like that. Thank you for your time, and I'll
okay.
probably not looking forward to it, but I'll let you get back to your reports.
Yes, thank you, Tim. I appreciate the opportunity.
You're welcome.
I think it's really good to see what different people are doing.
Well, there'll be more of that coming along. So thank you very much, Julianne.
Thank you. Bye.
See you later. Bye.